in between, we're just in the flow, sort of like carefree. Just doing it. I think that's why many people don't see all the stuff they actually are doing. They only focus on the goals. When it's all about the road.
And the movement is always in the towards the peak or towards the valley. To our what we call high points, or to what we call our low points. And being compassionate for both, for the choices, the movement, because the choices create the movement. And the highs and the lows are created by the perspective in tension with the expectation. As the highs, we expect that we can't go any higher, and nor do we expect the lows will ever come again. And the lows are just expecting something else. Neither except for what it is, and enjoying in the moment, enjoying the momentum. So caring for the present moment is being. Caring for and tending to the choices is the movement of the momentum. So much out of our control, yet we think it is our control, think we are doing it, guiding it, which we are, but it's inside of a whole lot of others.
Mm.
We can tend to our own. Tend to those around us, with us. Care for those like ours.
That's being open.
I was thinking about being
Inviting.
self-centered. Sorry. Can you say it again, Alison?
I don't think I heard what you said, Chi. Sorry, did you say self-centered?
Yeah, is that a bad word? Because I was thinking if when you're whether you're feeling too low or too high, we have to pull ourselves back and be centered.
Yeah.
It often feels like we're talking about the self a lot, but we're doing the self to be of better service to the world.
That's right. I would agree with that. I was thinking also, as Jesse was speaking about, the high point and the low point and our goals. If our intention is self-discovery, then it's quite different, because then we go intentionally into the unknown and we're open to what gets revealed. And then we choose from that what it is that we want.
Would be a great place is if everyone thought about themselves, then no one would think about what other people were thinking about.
Mm. And if we thought about it in terms of appreciation of what there is, right?
Yeah.
It's like you mentioned the self-centered, the neutral, I call it like the neutral. Neutral of the unknown. Morning, Syndrome.
Good morning, Sindrell.
Good morning. Good morning, beautiful souls. Thinking about yourself and the world. I was hanging in from YouTube. A beautiful perspective. I remember a period in my life of growing up and, kids are bullying. Oh, you think you cute. Oh, you think you so smart. Oh, you think people will tell you what you think about yourself.
Yeah.
And as I reflect, I was just thinking about being, like learning and being, like craving new information and seeing new things and engaging with different awarenesses and and I wasn't trying to be what they saw. I was just, enjoying learning and doing.
They saw 10% of you, not the rest of the world inside of you.
Yeah.
It's a whole different world. Yeah.
But I also became conscious of, I think that's part of that structure that is that builds and that's not healthy, because then like I didn't want to bring attention to myself.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to be brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like I wanted to be less, but because I didn't want the negativity, I just didn't let my light. I started being conscious that I had a light and to keep it dim and only point it out to who kind of got me. But they had to prove they got me before I let that light shine. What an awareness. Because I still have issues with being seen and my light shining bright. I do come up against those elements of being.
That's why it's so important not to take things personal, like we talked a little about yesterday.
Yes.
They don't know better. So they've not been with you 24/7 for years, the
Those
whole
people,
life.
I don't even know who most of those people were, except Madrell, whose name was too close to mine and was a big, big bully, physically and mentally, a big bully. And I had fights with her. But I did an auditorium session Monday, and it's still having some residual awarenesses are coming up from it. And I'm going to dwell, meditate in that area again, because there were shadows of personalities coming up that that didn't really quite identify themselves,
Right.
that need to know that, but look at me now, I'm grown.
Hmm.
You can let, you can let your light shine and turn on other people's lights too, to let them know that, hey, it's cool to shine.
Mm.
Looking back, the highs and the lows are just two sides of the same coin.
Huh?
We learn from it and we grow from it. Those bullies, they're great teachers.
Yeah. My fifth grade self is trying to be in control of the grown up self. Time for a promotion.
Mm.
Was thinking of that transition from innocence as a child, the innocence in no sense,
Hmm.
to the transition of where we do take that personal. We take on the perspective of person. We identify with it. We allow it to bother or guide. It's, it's the core. Comes to the core of who we are, what we stand for, how we react and respond to the highs and lows that we run into each day. Good morning, Mona. Welcome.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning, Mona.
Good morning.
Morning.
Mona.
It just makes me happy that we acknowledge and honor everyone's name.
Mm.
So important. I see you, I hear you, and so glad you're here. Here to hear what you have to say with no fear, with no judgment. So that we can practice what comes from deep inside and feel comfortable, because the unknown from deep inside is coming out into the world. And we get to practice that without the bullies, without fear of making a mistake, but the opportunity to face and dance with the unknown. Where it's okay to sit in long silence, not alone, but together. And together unwrapping the past, the hurt, the negative perceptions, unwrapping those, unfolding them, allowing to see another perspective, releasing that negative charge. And we can find and see another one, a more neutral, a positive, a different perspective. I'm sorry I missed that.
Circle back and speak to it again and see what comes up, Jeff.
I thought someone said something. It's just making space. So. But we choose our momentum. We can choose a compassionate momentum. That's just one example, one of many. And so it's have an inventory, right, of charges, momentums, feelings that we want to dance with and get comfortable with dancing with them. There may be some old partners that we don't want to dance with, working to replace them with the other one, which is usually the other side. It's just a shift of the dance floor, of the dance partner, of ourselves with that emotion, with that dance. I think that helps us stay self-centered, in neutral. That it's not that neutral doesn't have to be dull or meaningless or emotionless. Neutral means to just go with the emotion that's there, not changing it to anything else. Acknowledging it and saying, well, so here's the change. What is this emotion? What is it for? Let it ride its course. No, and so much we can remove it personally or holding on to it when we can say, oh, what is it? Why is it here now? What must I do or be with it? That is neutral.
It's like I was thinking neutral is like self-preserving, or how to say it. It's the path of least resistance.
It is. And so often we either attach right to it and just that's the story we're going to live in, or and usually that's a negative orientation, a negative perspective, a problem-solving perspective. And then we won't even allow ourselves to have a positive outlook. We can't reach for too much. We can't ask for too much. We can't go too high. And you can see how we set our limiting boundaries. We just set them as our own, or we've accepted them from others. And that creates a history. That creates our history.
I have a sweet little anecdote. A friend of mine, when she was bringing up her kids, there was a saying that there were three things that they had to listen to: their bellies, their hearts, and their mommy. And I just thought it was so beautiful that the heart and the belly came first. And of course, there was the outside in terms of mommy, but at that point, that was appropriate. And those kids remembered those things. You know, they used to tease her. They got older, of course. Or they still do. Don't have to listen to mommy. Can listen, but we don't have to obey. But they are very grounded, creative, loving, caring adults now. Just that simple guidance.
Simple wisdom.
Mm.
And it's to listen to what's inside of you above anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Which may be the voice of God and or the voice of the devil. Who knows, right? But it's inside. If it's got to be one, then it always could be the other, as a metaphor.
I'm reflecting on raising children and raising the child within to listen to the belly, the heart, and then the mommy. I think that's a really nice parenting tip.
Mm.
Where's daddy fits in there?
Yes, or daddy tip.
I think those are used interchangeably, Pascal, but yes.
Yeah.
You're not part of the equation, Pascal, if you haven't learned that yet.
And Pascal, you're so elevated. Your being is being, but you're mommy and daddy in one, even when there is another mommy or daddy. You come from all aspects of your being. You're one of those unique geniuses that really value your feminine and masculine energy.
Mm.
But I know you just want to be outwardly included because you're centering and thinking of yourself. So yes, daddy tip. It's all love.
Yeah.
That was cute.
They say they only need us once, Pascal.
They say.
Yeah, that's they. I was having a conversation with someone. We were just talking about relationships and like what pet peeves are. And it's like when you're having an emotional discussion and all of a sudden they're like, you men always do that, or women always do that. It's like, but I'm not women. I'm me. I'm not men. I'm me. So if we're going to talk about stuff, don't lump the situation into the history and the projection of everything. Let's deal with the here and now and what did I say? What did
Mm.
I project to you? Not what did I trigger, but
Mm.
what did I say? What did I do? How did I make you feel? Because I can't do all the women. I can't do all the men. I can't learn everything for all of them, but I can learn from the me of me to you.
That's a serious overgeneralization, and it's not even absolute.
Mm-hmm.
True. And it's dangerous.
Well, it speaks to identification of being a man or a woman as opposed to being a human being.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Language. You should say normally. Then you take above average, above the 50% normally do that.
Or
Mm.
normally it is my experience that, because even still normality could be so different, right?
It's that person's point of view.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we're not taught how to truly speak the language actually, so we don't make. That's why there's a lot of misunderstanding in this world, because they try to shorten it down to be as fast and simple as possible, and you miss a lot by that.
Mm. I was just thinking, Heinz, but the opposite can also happen. That when there's too much information, the essence gets lost.
That's one thing the school doesn't even teach us either, how to express ourselves correctly.
Yeah.
The schools
Don't
can leave that on the family, though. They make an
Should be.
assumption that it can be fostered at home. I'm sorry, Allison. I interrupted you twice.
It's really fine. Thank you, Mona. I think, yeah, I mean, what I'm thinking about is how intertwined our systems are, and we, if the systems all collaborated with each other consciously, we'd have a much better outcome. And especially with those young years, you know, with children. And the one thing also that came to mind with what you were saying, Mona, was that children spend so little time comparatively in the homes now. You know, our social systems work out so that kids are brought up in daycare systems. because
most of the
both
time when
parents
they
have
are
to
home.
work.
Yep.
So, and technology replaces that, fills in that void nowadays.
Mm. Is that true?
I was just thinking of how we go to work to pay bills, send our children to daycare centers. And in those centers, they don't, they're homing in on so much stimuli simultaneously from all the other incongruent, partially congruent, maybe a little congruent identities of themselves. It's like, how do you ever even find out who you are? Because there's so much external stimuli.
Exactly.
And then even when they're sitting in that space, like, there's rules, sit at the table, sit here, do this, do that. And there's so many voices. It's so many different voices. There's the teacher, there's all the other children, there's the classroom aide, there's the monitors that come in the room, there's the and teachers take breaks, so there may be a playground time. There's other people doing playground time. So there are voices that they are expected to adhere to for order's sake, that are not voices that are homogeneous with their geniusness as it's nurturing and developing. So no wonder they say the voice of God is calling you. Which voice is what? What? Which one is that?
Mm-hmm.
Good point. Good point. But the masterminds behind our civilization, they got it all figured out. There's certain knowledge that's only for the few. And they give us, half the Bible, half the science, half the history, half of everything. The history of ourselves, the history of humanity. The less we know, the better is for them.
And what about our own voice? Learning and knowing our own voice.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's so important for us to speak our voice, to tell our story, because they definitely don't want us to speak up. They just like to memorize. Their books, their history book, and school
Well, don't
it's
memorize
all
it
about
because it keeps
memorizing.
changing.
Sorry.
Don't memorize the history books; they keep changing.
Yeah.
Beautiful this morning. Blessings to you all. Until next time, peace.
Thanks, Central.
Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a pleasant day.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Sandra. Have an awesome day.
It already is
I'll-
starting it out with you guys. Peace.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My sentiments are the same. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for this.
Have a pleasant day, Alison.
Yes, bye,
Thank you,
Alice.
Allison.
Well, there's nothing else. We'll end on that.
Well, have a good
Thank
day,
you.
everybody. And or a good
Thanks,
evening,
Mona.
wherever you're at.
Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Chi. You too.
You all have a pleasant
Thank
day.
you. Take care.
Have a good day,
Bye,
guys.
Heinz. Bye, Pascal.
Bye bye.
Bye, all. Till next time.